Hello, so I am going to be creating a Facebook ad for this Facebook post, and I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. So there is the long way and then there is a shorter way. So the long way is you first need to create an advert. So you go into Facebook, and then once you click on here, you'll have all the pages that you are admins of and settings and stuff like that, and then you should have create adverts and manage adverts. So you click on manage adverts and then choose your campaign. So you'll probably just have one, but I have like two, I think, altogether. So in here at the moment I only have one campaign, and that is the last Facebook ad that I ran. That was for my content calendar posts. So you'll see here all the campaigns that you've run in the past, which ones are active and which ones are inactive. So this one says it's inactive. See, not delivering because I turned it off because I don't need to run it anymore. But it'll tell you the results, the cost, how many people it reached, and total spend, when it started and when it ended as well. So you can turn that on and off from this section here, or you can actually go into it and do it that way. So this is where all your campaigns will show up, all the ones that you're running and all the ones that you have run in the past. So to start a new one, you click on the green button that says create advert, and then you have to choose what the objective of your campaign is. So the one that I usually use the most is to send people to your website, because I'm sending people back to my blog. So there'll be that one if you have like a blog, or sometimes you'll have increased conversions on your website, so that's if you have an online shop and things like that. And then the other one we'll be showing you today is the boost your posts version as well, because that tends to be a really easy way to boost posts that you've had on your page. So if you post about a new blog post that you've done, and you've linked to your blog, then sometimes it's easier to just boost that post rather than create a whole advert. But we're going to start with creating an advert. So I'm going to send people to my website, and it'll ask you for a URL. So I'm going to put in the URL of this post. So I'm going to copy and then paste that in there. Yep. And hopefully it will find all of my website details. There we go. So you'll have a teeny tiny little thumbnail there, which will be like your blog post image, and then it'll tell you what the campaign name is there. You can change this, so I'm going to change this to what's this one called? How to find out what so there you go. And then you need to start creating your advert. So you're going to start by creating the audience that you want to reach. So who do you want your adverts to reach? So your new audience, sometimes you can create a custom audience in the main sort of dashboard thing, but I usually just create my custom audiences depending on what the post is about in this section here. But you can pre-create custom audiences, so you can just click on like an audience you've already made. That may sound slightly complicated, but I'll probably cover that in a whole different video. But for now, we're just going to run through how to actually create an advert. So you can choose your location. So I have all the United Kingdom, and I'm going to include the United States as well, because I tend to have a lot of blog traffic from the US. And I'm going to choose 18 to 65. Do I need to choose that much? I'm going to choose 18 to 35, I think. And there we go. And I'm going to target all, I think. Or should I choose women? I'm going to go all for this one, because I think using Google Analytics was pretty much applies to everyone, so I'm going to use all for that, and then I'm going to put English all as my languages. And then over on the right hand side it says audience definition, and you have this sort of dial thing that says specific and broad. So the red section is specific, so that's how specific you're being with your audience targeting. So if you've put like ages between 18 to 19, shall we say? Where's 19? And all women, and then as you go along you'll type in interested, so advertising, and you'll see how that little dial thing changes. And the more you put in there, so say you want businesses, and then behaviors, you want travel, commuters, and the more things you add into this section, the more that dial will move. So ideally you kind of want to stay in the green area, because that will allow your advert to be served to the right people and a good number of people. So it's important that you know who you want to target your advert at before you start creating your advert, because you don't want to be too specific and you don't want to be too broad, and because that's just a waste of resources. You want to be serving your ad to people who are more likely to click and go through to your content and actually enjoy your content. So if you know who your demographic is already, then that's great, then you can sort of just put it all into here. If you don't, maybe have a play around and sort of have a think about who is more likely to click on your blog post or go through to your content. So I'm going to choose 18 to 35, and I think I'm going to go with women because a lot of my readers are female. So I'm going to stick with that, English all, and then interests I'm going to go with, here you can choose different categories of interest. So if someone has put that they're interested in entertainment and games in their Facebook profile, or they've had any indication of being a fan of games in their Facebook profile, then this ad will get served to those people. So let's put marketing, and I might go with advertising as well. Yeah, I'll leave it at those two because my blog tends to write a lot about advertising and marketing, so I'm going to stick those in the interests. And as you can see, my little dialy thing has gone straight to the middle because I've been a bit more specific with who I want to target to. Behaviours, I don't think I'll have any behaviours. Let's have a look. So this is targeting people by their behaviour, so what they're doing on Facebook and what they've sort of said in their Facebook profiles that they're doing. I don't know, I'm just pressing buttons now. So the next thing is connections. So this is where you can choose whether you want to serve it to anyone and everyone, or whether you want to serve it to people that only have some sort of connection to your blog or your Facebook page or just anything that you're running personally. So if you click on advanced connection targeting, you can include people who are connected to my page, so I could target everyone who has liked my page. If you have an app, maybe whoever's liked your app or has installed your app on Facebook. Exclude people who are connected to, so again you can exclude people by this sort of criteria as well, and also include people whose friends are connected to, and then you can choose a page. So this is just if you say you have a shop and you want to target people who visit competitor Facebook pages, then you could probably put your competitor Facebook pages in there, and then your ad will be served to those people who like your competitor's Facebook page. So that's always a good way of bringing new people into your blog or your Facebook page or whatever you're advertising on Facebook, and just sort of like not stealing people from competitors but inviting them in, because then you know those people are interested in whatever niche you blog about or like create content on. So I'm just going to click all and keep my audience definition dead on in the middle. And then that is pretty much your audience section done. And then the next one is how much you want to spend. So you can choose between a daily budget and a lifetime budget. So it depends what kind of campaign you want to run, but I tend to stick with daily budget because I don't run Facebook ads really frequently. But my daily budget I tend to keep very, very low. So I will usually have about £1 a day budget because I don't have a massive budget for advertising for my blog. But depending on how much you want to spend on advertising, then you can up that or I tend to keep it above £1. I think any less than that, then it affects how many people it serves. So over here on the right, again, like you have the audience definition bit, you have an estimated daily reach. So as you change all of this section here, this bit will change, and this tells you how many people on average your advert will be served to every day. So at the moment, mine will be served to between 660 and 1,700 people every day. But obviously it's only an estimate. Numbers shown are based on the average performance of adverts targeted to your selected audience. So it depends on how frequently people engage with your advert, because if they're not engaging very often, then your advert will not be served as often. So Facebook kind of decides how often to serve your ad to people, depending on how successful it's been. So I'm going to make my daily budget £1, and I'm going to set a start and end date. So I'm going to set this to, I'll start it tomorrow at 7, I think. And then I'll end it. I'm going to have it run for 5 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have it finished next Wednesday, and I'll do that at, there we go. So my advert will run from Wednesday the 8th, run until Wednesday the 8th of July 2015, and my spend will be £5.71 for the entire run of the advert. So over here, the more budget you put into it, so say if I wanted to put in £10 a day, then you'll notice that it goes up dramatically. So that's 6,600 people to 17,000 people. That's the amount of people that my ad would be served to every single day, between now and the 8th of July. So the more money you put into it, the more people it will be served to. Again, it really depends on what your budget is. I tend to not have a very big budget, so I don't mind that my estimated daily reach is quite low, because I don't really get a lot of people clicking on it anyway. So I'm going to stick with that one. And £5.71 for the entire run kind of is in my range. I tend to go for about £5 for an entire campaign because I'm not really selling anything, I'm just driving traffic to my website. And then step 3 is to create your advert. So this is where we create what the advert actually looks like. So I'm going to have a single image instead of multiple images, because I only have one image for my blog post. I'm going to use that. And this is where it gets a little bit complicated. So what creative would you like to use in your adverts? And then here you can select what images you want. Facebook has a rule that you are only allowed 20% text on an image. So this image that I use for my blog post has actually got too much text. Facebook doesn't allow you to have a lot of text on there. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away and I'm going to create a specific image for Facebook that doesn't have as much text on it, but still somehow tells people what my post is about. And then I will come back and upload this onto my advert. So now I'm going to upload my specific Facebook friendly image, or at least I hope it's Facebook friendly. Where is it? No, Facebook images, there it is. So I've reduced the amount of text on it, but I still have text on it, so I'm just going to see if it's okay with it. So yeah, I'm going to leave that for now. It will inform you if the advert has been accepted or declined, and it'll usually tell you why your advert's been accepted or declined, but it won't tell you if your image has too much text on until you've like placed the ad and asked Facebook if it's okay. So we're just going to keep going with it. So it helps if you have an actual Facebook page, because the Facebook page will be who the advert is run through. So this will say that Kat Crawford has sponsored this post and blah blah blah. So you can't, I don't think you can do it from a private account. I think you have to do it from a Facebook page, as far as I know. So yeah, you have to do it from a Facebook page, so make sure you have one before you decide to create an advert, which I think most of you will probably have anyway. And then the headline, so this is, I was going to point to it then, it's not going to make any difference, is it? This is this section here, so how to find out is where your headline is. So your headline pretty much needs to say everything in 25 characters, which is not very easy. So I'm going to put in, is this gonna fit? Ooh. You may need to play around with this a little bit. Does that fit? Yay! So this might take a little bit longer because you have to try and fit what you want to say in 25 characters, which is not very easy. And you need to make this as catchy and as informative as possible. Again, not very easy. This is something that usually a copywriter would do if you were creating a Facebook advert for a company. So it does take a little bit playing around with, but you'll get there in the end. Eventually you will get there. So I'm going to put optimal blog posting time because that pretty much sums up what my blog post is going to be about. There's probably ways I could make that a lot catchier, but I am just going to stick with that. So the text bit here, this is this section here. So this is where you get to actually say in a bit more detail what your advert is advertising. So I'm going to say using Google don't know why I always do capital letters after everything. Using Google Analytics custom reports to find your optimal blog posting times. So this one where the text is, I would tend to say, think about it as though you're talking to your audience. So think about the person that you want to click on that post and what would you say to them if they were stood in front of you to try and get them to come and find out some more information. So I've basically put using Google Analytics custom reports to find your optimal blog posting time. So I've purposely put your in so that it sounds like you're talking to someone, and it pretty much sums up what I'm getting at in the post. So that section is done, and then a call to action button so you can choose what you want people to do. So if you are selling something in the advert, you can choose shop now, or if you are like a holiday people and you want someone to book a holiday, you book now. I'm going to put learn more, and then when people click on learn more, then they'll be taken to my website and they'll be able to read the blog post. So that is that section there, and then you have the advert preview and placement section here, which will give you a pretty good idea of what your entire advert will look like. So this is what the desktop advert will look like. So you've got your like page button so people can like the page straight from the advert, learn more so they can click on that and go straight to the blog post. And then you have your mobile news feed, which may or may not load because Facebook ads are a bit temperamental. There we go. So that's what it will look like on mobile. And then you have the right column section. So those adverts you get in the right side of your Facebook feed, that's what these ones are. So it will look like this. And then audience network as well. So then what this will look like if it loads. There we go. And that's what it will look like on the audience network. So that'll be, it says there third-party mobile apps. I don't actually know what the third-party mobile apps will be, but that's what it will look like. So once you have done all of this, and yes, it does take, it actually doesn't take that long, but talking through it takes a while. So once you've done all that, you chose your audience, you've chosen what your advert looks like, you've chosen a budget, then you click on place order. And your order has been placed. You'll receive a notification once your adverts have been reviewed. So Facebook then goes through everything and makes sure that nothing is untoward or illegal or that the images have less than 20% text on them, and then they will send you a notification, and they usually send you an email as well to say whether your Facebook ad has been approved or declined. So I just have to wait now to see if this approves. It usually comes through quite quickly though, so I should know in the next, say, 20 minutes or so whether it has been approved or declined, and then just click continue. And then you'll be taken to this. So this is inside the actual campaign, and it tells you what the status is. So it's on, yeah, it's in review, no money has been spent today, no money has been spent on the campaign, and the end date is 8th of July. So that tells you all the general gist of what's going on. If you click on this, it also tells you what budget and schedule optimization is. So this gives you all the details you need about your audience and what your budget is as well. So let's have a look. There's your advert preview. So that, if you click on that, you'll get an actual proper preview of what your advert looks like. And again, you can have a look through all the different types. And that's that section. And then create similar advert is basically if you want to keep all of this information. So if you want to keep the same budget, the same target audience, same estimated daily reach, everything like that. If you want to keep all of that information the same, but you just want a different blog post advertising or anything like that, then you create similar advert and you just change what URL it links to, and what the advert actually looks like as well. So that is that. But the other way to do it is if you go onto your page, which I will do now, you will also see a boost post button. So if you click on this, you can then from here create an advert purely just with that post. So that post will become your advert. Sometimes it will tell you to change the image, or it will tell you to take out some text. But this is a really quick way of making a Facebook post an actual sponsored post. So here you select like what budget you want, how long you want it to run for, how you want to pay for it, what account you want to put it on, and choose your audience. It's basically like a really basic version of what we've just been through. So it really depends on how much detail you want to go into. But this one I wouldn't technically recommend if you want to drive people to your blog. This is the way that I ran my first advert, and I didn't really like the way that it worked. I definitely think creating an actual new advert, like a proper advert, is a lot better and gives you a lot better results as well, because you get to track a lot more and you can choose who you're targeting a bit better. Okay, so I have waited for a little while and it looks like everything is okay. Everything seems to be in order. So once your advert has been running for a little bit, you will get something that looks like this. So this will tell you, frequency will tell you how many times your advert has been served to all the people. So if you have 660 people that it estimates will see your advert, then the frequency will tell you how many times those people have seen it. So you want to try and keep the frequency between 1 and 2, because if people are seeing your advert like every time they go onto Facebook, so they've seen it like 10 times, they're gonna start to get really annoyed by it. So we want to keep the frequency as low as possible. So if your frequency starts to go up past 2, maybe 3, then turn it off for a little bit and then restart it later on. So that's the frequency. It says what my total spend is and what my average cost per engagement is. So for example, if you spent £6 on your advert and received 6 total actions, the cost per action is £1. So that basically tells you how cost effective your advert is. So that is pretty much it. That is how to create a Facebook advert. If you have any further questions, or you didn't understand any of that, because I think it can be a little bit difficult to get your head around at first, but the easiest way to really master it is to just do some practice adverts, because if you're doing adverts for your own stuff, and you mess up, the only person's money you're going to be wasting is your own. So that's why I'd say get a tiny budget and just have a play around with it and see what kind of effects you can get, see if you can get any more traffic, or kind of what happens to your blog traffic if you run Facebook ads. If it goes up, then you know you can run them in the future and it's going to be really helpful. Or if it doesn't really do much, then you think, okay, well maybe Facebook isn't the best place to advertise my content. So it's good to have a play around with this and try and find out your perfect audience. But yeah, so that is all for now. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, remember to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. And I will see you very, very soon. So goodbye.